You know that specific kind of anxiety you get in a conference room?
Yeah.
Or even in a nice home theater setup?
Right.
You have all the gear, the laptop, the media player, a camera, and you have the screens. But that bridge between them is just a total
It's
mess.
the spaghetti junction of cables under the table.
Yeah,
And there's always one remote that nobody can figure out.
exactly. And the solution is usually some cheap little plastic box you bought online, and you just pray the handshake works.
Right.
But today we're looking at, well, the complete opposite of that. We're doing a deep dive on the Kramer VS-62H.
Yeah, this is serious hardware. The
Yeah.
official description is a 6x2 4K HDMI automatic matrix switcher.
Okay, that is a mouthful. And it sounds impressive, but let's be real for a second. Is it just a very expensive glorified splitter?
No, there's actually a lot of intelligence packed in here. The key word is matrix. That's the first thing that sets it apart from a standard switch.
Because a normal switch is just, pick one input, show it on one screen. That's it.
Correct. But this is a 6x2 matrix. 6 inputs, 2 outputs. And the matrix part means you can route any of those 6 inputs to either or both of the outputs
At the same time.
at the same time.
Okay, so in a real-world scenario, I could have a presentation from a laptop go into the main projector, and maybe a video feed from a camera on a smaller monitor on the side.
Exactly that. Or the same game on 2 different TVs in a sports bar. It's a traffic controller, really. It directs the flow. It doesn't just open and close one gate at a time.
All right, that's definitely a step up. But I want to talk about signal quality. HDMI can get really flaky over long distances. You get sparkles, the screen goes black. I saw a feature listed here called Kramer reclocking. Is that just a fancy marketing term, or is it actually doing something?
No, that's kind of the secret sauce. Think of a digital signal like a pulse over a long cable. That pulse gets weak, the edges get rounded off, it gets noisy.
And a cheap box just amplifies the whole messy signal, noise and all.
Exactly. Reclocking technology is different. It doesn't just amplify, it takes that weak, messy signal, it tears it down completely, and it rebuilds it. It reestablishes the original timing, the clock of the signal.
So it's not a booster, it's more like a reconstruction crew.
That's a perfect way to put it, and that's how it can support something like 4K at 60 hertz. You need a perfect signal for that kind of bandwidth.
And what about the audio? If you have a nice Dolby True HD or DTS HD system, is this box going to crush that down to basic stereo?
Nope, it's a full pass-through. It leaves those high-end audio formats completely untouched, so it won't be the bottleneck in your sound system.
Okay, so the signal is solid. But what about actually using it? I'm looking at the automation features, and there's something called step-in functionality. It sounds a little aggressive.
It's actually designed to be more collaborative. If you have multiple people plugged in, step in, lets the user press a button and just take over the main screen.
Oh, so no more fumbling for the remote or crawling on the floor to swap someone's cable?
Exactly. And speaking of controls, you're not just limited to the buttons on the front panel. It has a built-in web page.
So the IT department can log in from their office and switch the inputs without even entering the room.
Precisely. That, plus it has an IR remote and even RS-232 for integrating with bigger, older automation systems. It's built to be managed however you need to.
Okay, reliability. The absolute worst thing these devices do is that flicker.
Yeah.
That long black screen or blue screen when you switch inputs.
Yeah.
It just kills a presentation's momentum.
I thought of that. It has something called true video clock detection.
I mean,
It basically checks to make sure there's a live, valid video signal coming from the source before it makes the switch, so it doesn't jump to a dead channel.
so it checks for a pulse before it opens the door.
That's a great way to think about it, yeah.
And it's interesting, the source material we had pointed to HDTV Supply as the vendor. And usually when you're buying this kind of pro-level gear, the seller is just a faceless website.
Yeah, that was a surprising detail. The reviews for this specific unit didn't just praise the hardware, they actually shouted out the customer support. A name, Rachel Christian, the VP of Operations, kept coming up.
You almost never see that, an executive getting mentioned in a tech review.
Right. It suggests that when you're spending, what's the price? Around $784, I think?
Yeah, something like that.
You're not just getting a box. You're getting a human you can actually talk to who makes sure it works for you.
And for a business, that peace of mind is probably worth the premium over that $20 Amazon special.
Absolutely. It's the difference between something that works and something that works when the CEO is watching.
So to sum it up, the Kramer VS-62H is this combination of a matrix router, a signal rebuilder, and an automated director for all your video sources.
That's a pretty perfect summary.
It does leave me with one last thought, though. With features like auto switching and step-in, this hardware is getting smarter and smarter about detecting signals. Are we getting close to a point where the user interface just disappears entirely, where the room itself just knows what you want to show on the screen?
That's an interesting idea. If the hardware is smart enough to see who's active, maybe you don't need to switch at all. The room just responds.
Something to think about next time you're fumbling with an HDMI cable. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.